Hello everyone, welcome to another hardcore journey video. Today we're looking at Punch, the fist weapon rogue. We're recording this video for the 19th time as we do. Time to yap for another 45 minutes about this cool rogue. Since I'm tired of talking about it, it's going to be a little quick, a little shorter than the melee warlock video. If you haven't seen the melee warlock video, there's a melee warlock video where I played melee warlock from 1 to 60. It's very cool. Love that warlock. My first 60 it was very fun. So let's take a look at Punch. Let's go about it real quick. Is fist weapon good? Yeah, it's very good, very strong. Anytime you pick up these fist weapons, 10, 20, 30, and then these ones here. Very strong. You do a shit ton of damage. No, it does not come from mostly melee swings. You're using external sources such as Gift of Arthas, Dragon Breath Chili, and the poisons. But we'll talk about all that as we go through it. Take a look at the gear, take a look at the talents, talk about leveling, talk about everything. So we have a Nightscape headband, pretty strong. These two items here, gifted by a guildie. It was very cool. 2 guildies, in fact. No longer playing on the server, probably, because this is the old server, not the new anniversary one. This is an old character. The reason level 50 is because I kind of got all the upgrades I needed. There's 2 more that are in dungeons. I only run 1 dungeon per character. Not so self-found, but kind of a rule that I kept going. So I didn't really feel like there was anything left to get. But I have a little bit of a second win for the character, so I might get it to 60 at some point. We have the coat of bone necklace, shoulder pads. Feel free to pause if you need to take a look at any of these. For the most part, some quest items, some of them we bought, some of them we didn't. For the most part, I didn't buy anything until I got to like 45, and I was like, we're already buying fiery, let me buy some gear. So, by the way, we have fiery in our weapons. This one comes from the Behemoth, which is outside BRD. It's our rare. I bought it off the auction house because I'm not soloing that thing. That is terrifying. And blades, just the regular ones from the vendor. And then we have Thunderbrew, Nifty, Lufa. Let's take a look at our talents. We are running Subtlety, going down to Hemo, and then going for Assassination for poisons. Why don't you just run combat? Isn't combat so good? Is combat so strong? You just run combat for everything. I think combat's probably still good for fist weapons, but I think having damage from external sources is incredibly strong because certain mobs are immune to something, certain mobs have a lot of armor, certain mobs, things happen. You know, if you level in the game, you know what I mean. So what this means is that you'd like damage from external sources, and we are not playing swords and daggers, we're playing fist weapons, which means it's very important that we go on the strengths of our fist weapon, and I'll talk about that. So let's start here. Master Deception. Why are we running this? Mainly because we need points to go down the tree. But why else are we running this? Well, we're running Opportunity. So 5 out of 5 Opportunity. Well, we don't backstab, we don't ambush, so that you don't press Garrote, surely. We actually do. Garrote is crazy good in this build. I'll talk about the opener. I'll talk about how it plays. So when you're opening on a mob, and this is even at the current level I'm at, is incredibly strong. The way you're opening is you're pressing Garrote in your opener, which is crazy, I know. How dare you press Garrote? I just want to run in there with my swords and just hit the Sinister Strike and just kill him. I don't even slice and dice, I just Vis, because I unga bunga, and me play combat and just run in there and riposte. It's pretty good. Yeah, those are all great. But telling you, Garrote actually does insane damage. This thing hits so fucking hard, especially if you have 20% here. And so that goes above the 444, and it scales with your attack power, and it gives you a combo point, and it bleeds about over 18 seconds. It does so much damage. Every time you get a rank of Garrote, I'm like, holy, why is this thing my top damage? It's not really. It's like second highest. No. I mean, when I was leveling 20 to 30, it was definitely number 1 damage. Like, this shit was insane how hard it hit. But I don't want to stealth. It takes so long to walk up to the target, and then they see me. Well, this is why we're running 2 Master Deception, and we're running 4 Camouflage. Get a little quicker, see less. Opportunity, does a lot of damage. We're running Elusiveness. Why are we running Elusiveness? Because having Vanish is cool. Well, I don't need to run Vanish. I run Engineering on every character, and I just put the target dummy down. I don't run Engineering. Spoiler, we're running Herbalism Skinning. Why are we doing that? Because consumables are expensive. And there are certain consumes that I wanted to try, and I was like, damn, this shit's broken, and I just kept running it. So to fund my habit of spending a lot of money, I need to make a lot of money. So that's how we get there. Initiative. Why is this good? Let's talk about our opener. Actually, let's talk about Ghostly Strike first. Why are we running Ghostly Strike? Honestly, I have no clue. It doesn't really do that much. 15% dodge, pretty good. The actual damage it deals, not very good. Because we're running so many sources, like Deadly Poison, spoilers, not running instant, talk about that later. We're running Deadly Poison, we're running Garrote, we're using Rupture, we're using Slice and Dice, we're using Hemo. These are all external sources that are doing damage for us. So once everything is up, wow, you don't need to do anything. The mob's just gonna explode and die. So you just press Ghostly, you sit there and you just dodge everything. Between Ghostly having 15% dodge, and we have 17% plus 15% is like, what, like 40% dodge? Something like that? No, it's a little less, like 32%. And then we have 5% parry, it's like 37. And then we have 20% damage reduction against level 50. So we're taking 20% less damage, and we're dodging or parrying like 37% of the time. It's pretty good, and the mob's just dying. The actual damage from Ghostly is irrelevant. And now, well, I'm not scared. I play combat, and I just run in there with my swords. Okay, yeah, but the less damage you take, the less you have to sit there and heal, the less you have to first aid, the less time you have to spend making those bandages, the less time you have to sit there eating, the more time to hit Garrote. Walk up to stealth mobs. So, why is initiative good? Gives you an extra combo point when you Garrote. 75% of the time, which is almost 100% of the time. But it's not quite 100 because it's 75%. So, why does this matter? Because we're not here to take talents for no reason. We're not just, oh, it's 75%. There's a combo point. I'm just going to run it. But I don't know why. I'll tell you why. When your opener goes like this. You Garrote. You get an initiative proc, it's going to give you 2 combo points, okay? What is Rupture duration? Rupture duration is about 10 seconds. How long do your fights last? Between level 20 and 40, probably about 12 seconds. Which would mean you want a 3-point Rupture, but that's a lot of time and a lot of combo points that I don't want to put into something, which I'll explain in a bit. So, we're getting a 10-second Rupture that does 185 damage. It actually does a little bit more because this thing makes you do 30%. It's pretty good. So, we Garrote, we get an initiative proc, 2-point Rupture. So, for the rest of the fight, the mob is bleeding by Garrote, which does insane damage, bleeding by Rupture, which does, it's fine, it's okay damage. And, okay, now what do we do? So, we have a 2-point Rupture, which is very good. Now we Hemo, because we are playing Hemo. And we're also playing Serrated, which makes us do more damage with Rupture, lets us ignore their armor, it's really strong. So, we're running Hemo. Hemo, at my current rank, makes the target take 5 more damage per swing. If you look at these fist weapons, they swing at 1.4 and 1.5. When you have Slice and Dice up, which we're using by the way, it's like 1.2 or something like that. Speed, 1.14, 1.2, some amount is very quick. So, you're swinging insanely fast, almost 1 time a second, which means that Hemo is giving you almost, not quite, 5 DPS, which is a lot of DPS. So, it's really good to use Hemo, and now you have a Garrote ticking, a Rupture ticking. Hemo is ticking, quote unquote, because you're punching, right? So a lot of your damage tends to not come from these weapons hitting, which, I mean, it does matter, but like, if I wanted to, I could just equip level 10 fist weapons, and it would, in some ways, with Deadly and Rupture and Garrote, will kind of simulate the same idea. It would be a lot slower because your melees do add up probably about 20% of your damage, but even without that, you just do a lot of damage anyway. And mobs die within 12 seconds. My level, probably looking closer to 15, 16, maybe 20. I don't have any details because I haven't played this character in a year, but trust me on that, I guess. Deadly Poison is really good damage. It's almost one of your top damages, and Garrote is another one that competes for the top. Very strong. After that, we take prep, because we like living. Living is cool, so we take preparation to reset our blind and our vanish if we need it. We also have CDR on our blind and vanish, in case we need them. It's really nice when you pull 3 mobs. You're on the first mob, it's Garroted, it's Ruptured, you have Slice and Dice running, 2 extra mobs pull, swap target, blind in one of them, swap target again, get your Hemo up there, you have Slice and Dice already running, you immediately, like, 5-stack Deadly Poison on them, you put a Rupture, the first mob's dead, you just cleave all of them. You don't need to run Blade Flurry because you just do damage to everything. It's pretty great. Maybe press Evasion. Let's take a look here. We run Malice. Why are we running Malice? I have no clue. These ones aren't very good. We don't press any of these buttons. We don't press Sinister Strike or Backstab or Ambush, and we do run Ghostly, but it's like the last thing on our priority list, so we don't really need this. And we never Abyss, so why would we press it? So we run Malice. 5% crits, 5% crit. I mean, you know, it's fine. We have a 13.5% crit chance. When you crit, It's nice. Does it matter? Not really. Ruthlessness. Why does this matter? So, because initiative is a 75% chance to proc, let's take a look at our opener. So we go out, we proc initiative, we rupture. We have 2-point rupture. Now we hemo to apply hemo, and now we press slice and dice. So now you have all of your buffs running, you're slicing, and with how fast these weapons hit, you press hemo again, and more than likely your deadly poison is fully stacked. You have 5 stacks of deadly poison. I'll talk about the differences between deadly and instant later, but trust me that deadly does way more damage, because I was testing it, and I was like, oh, let me run instant, and I should run instant, and I was like, let me try deadly. Like, it doesn't read. It reads like it would fucking suck, because it takes 12 seconds to do all this damage, but then every time you have to, like, restack it. It just sounds terrible. But then I played it, and I was like, oh, it's like my highest damage. Like, it's actually insane how much damage it does, and it feels way less RNG than instant. But I'm talking about it now, even though I said I would talk about it later, so let's talk about it later. So why is this good? So now that you have all your shit running, it's great, and if you get a Ruthlessness proc off of anything, for the most part it doesn't really matter. It does let you skip a global sometimes, which is kind of nice. So you can go Garrote, get your initiative proc, Rupture, get your Ruthlessness proc, slice and dice right away, then hemo. You can get your slice and dice up a global early. That's kind of nice. Doesn't really matter though, it's not why it's here. So why is this here? If you Garrote and you do not get a proc off initiative, which is this thing that gives you combo points, because you have a 25% chance, because it's not 100, it's actually 75, but it might as well be 100, because most of the time it does, but sometimes, very rarely, like 1 in 4, it doesn't. So what happens is you go Garrote, and you're like, damn, I don't know 1-point rupture, because that doesn't do anything. So you hemo, because at some point you need to get your hemo up anyway, because you just want to get this debuff up, because it lasts 30 charges, 15 seconds, you just want to get it up, gives you a combo point. It's pretty good. So you get your hemo up. Now you're at 2 combo points. Now you rupture. Alright, cool. So now we ruptured. So what's our next step? Well, we have our hemo up. We have our rupture up. We have our Garrote up. We have our deadly poisons going. What are we missing? We're missing slice and dice. Well, I guess we have to hemo again. Though, in this case, what you'd actually do is press Ghostly Strike, because it's also going to give you a combo point. But it does cost more energy, 5 more energy. Which, as far as I remember, with the way the ticks worked, is sometimes you would not have enough for 40, but you'd have 35. Don't ask me, I don't remember. I should probably ask me, because I'm making the video. But for the most part, I recall that sometimes this was available and sometimes this wasn't. It wasn't always the case. Usually, Ghostly Strike is, but sometimes it's not. So you'd Ghostly in that case. But if your Ruthlessness procs, you can go Garrote, hemo, Rupture. Then Rupture gives you the extra combo point, and you can just slice and dice right away, and then boom. You're saving yourself an extra global of hemo that doesn't do anything. You get up your slice and dice a global faster, or in actual words, it's like your initiative procced in the first place. So basically, you're either looking for this to give you this, because unlike... there's a talent somewhere. Unlike Relentless Strikes, that scales off per combo point spent. This is just raw. This is just your finishing moves have a 60% chance to give you a combo point. That means that at any combo point spent, you will get a combo point. So even if I go 2-point Rupture, it has a 60% chance. Even if I go 1-point Slice, it gives you a 60% chance. So between Initiative giving you a 75 in your opener and Ruthlessness giving you a 60, you should, in theory, at the exact same global, always be at the same spot of have hemo, have slice, have poisons, have Garrote, have Rupture. Now, is it possible that Initiative doesn't proc and Ruthlessness doesn't proc? Yeah, it is, and it sucks, and you're gonna really feel like, damn, I'm just like 2 globals behind. Because you have to go Garrote, hemo, Rupture, hemo, slice and dice, versus something like Garrote, Rupture, hemo, slice, right? It makes it, the reason it sounds like it's so much quicker is because I was saying it faster for the purpose of tricking you to make it sound like it's a lot quicker, but in reality it's just 1 global, which is 1.5 seconds. So it is faster, but if you just say it faster, then people will believe it's faster, right? So we play Murder, it's 2% damage versus most everything, it's pretty good. Slice and Dice duration, why do we play this? Slice and Dice lasts 9 seconds. Let's round this up to 50 because math is hard, as you may have seen earlier when I was struggling to add 13 and 17, I think. I don't know, some numbers. So, which is 30. So it probably wasn't those numbers, but it was some other numbers. So let's round up to 50. It's 4.5 extra seconds. What does that mean? It means your 1-point Slice and Dice is somewhere, it's like a 2.5 point Slice and Dice, which gives you 30% attack speed, which lets you stack instant poison, and which lets you get better advantage of Hemo, and we're running this cool thing called Gift of Arthas. It's a consumable. Whenever anyone hits you, they have a 30% chance to get it, but I swear to God, it feels like 75%. Or it's because maybe they should stop giving every mob like a 1.0 attack speed and then just machine gun you. But I'm okay with it because we're running Gift of Arthas, so that means they're getting poisoned, which makes them take 8 more damage, which is just basically another Hemo. So you have 13 damage between Hemo and Gift of Arthas, and it's great. And it does a lot of damage. It really, really, really adds up. I have like 21 of them on me. I don't have a mount on this character because I chose not to buy it, because I was like, I have sprint and I have prep, so why do I need it? And I have stopwatch, so I'll just walk everywhere. And then I pressed my mount hotkey like 15 times when I logged on this character, and I drank like 7 of these in a row. It was great. So it used to be right here, and now you can see it is no longer right there because I'm tired of drinking these by accident. All good. Also, I just realized that if I do want to level this character again, nobody's playing on this server, so those 21 Gift of Arthas better last me the rest of the time. All good. Exposed armor. Why are we taking this? Why? I look at this and I say 1 out of 2 exposed armor. Well, surely that means I should press exposed armor. So I'm going to play this build and I'm going to press exposed armor. Do not do that. Exposed armor, not very good. Why is it not good? Because it's going to come after your rupture, after your rupture, after your garrote. You're going to have all this external damage, which is not physical. And like, when are you putting it? You'd have to like slice and dice and then Hemo and then expose. It's like kind of bad. And then how much does it reduce? 275. It's like okay, so you probably want it like 3. And then with that and serrated, you're like taking all their armor away, because I think mobs have like 1,000 armor or something around this level. Yeah, don't press it. There is a reason we take it though. So Fist Weapon Rogue is incredibly strong. It does a lot of damage. Promise. No meme. It hits really hard. It does a lot of damage. But you have a problem. If you have mobs like Oozes or Infernals, think mostly Infernals, that are bleed immune and are poison immune, you're going to have a very, very, very bad time. It is not fun. Let me tell you. You do not do any damage to those mobs. And there was a quest where I had to go kill a bunch of Infernals or any elemental, rock elementals and Snaris. That quest is absolutely miserable. They have 10 million trillion gazillion armor, are immune to bleeds and poisons, and it is a bad time. So what do we do about that? We use solid Waitstone. Do not run poisons against those mobs. You will blow through your charges, which I'll talk about actually, and do nothing. So you run this to get 6 extra damage, and that's why these are here. These are the only reasons that's here. And you just want to stack, like, you want to open with like fucking Cheap Shot and hit initiative, and I'm pretty sure Cheap Shot gives you 2 points, so you go to like 3 points, and then you Hemo, you're at 4 points, and then you land a fatty, natty exposed armor, hit him with this, plus this, and that should be like 1% other armor, because they have like 10,000 armor, but goddamn does that 1% feel good. And then you can finally DPS the mob, and it's great, and probably, I don't know, kidney shot them or something, like you do no damage. Because I did the Rock Elemental quest where you have to kill the level 48 ones. They're not 48, are they? It was that. Maybe they are. Okay, let me just look at the map. Where is Badlands? This quest here, you'll know the ones I'm talking about. And it's these elementals here that are like level 80 in a level 60 max game. And I was doing them like 4 levels lower, and it was terrible. Don't do that. It was a bad time. Look, the quest finished. The quest finished. I'm still alive. Okay, it wasn't very fun. Someone was like, I was complaining in Go Chat, and someone's like, "Oh, I'll just come do it for you." I'm like, no. Let me suffer through this. Is a rite of passage for me. And I did it, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting these Waitstones for the future because there'll be oozes and stuff I have to kill. All right, let's talk about how leveling works real quick. 1 to 10, just use the dagger or whatever. Look, can I go there and just 1v1, man on man, me versus bear, punching? Yeah, I could. Is that fun? No, that sounds awful. That just sounds like not a good time. So just use a dagger or whatever. Set myself these weapons. No fiery, no nothing. Just raw use these 4. No enchants. I picked up blacksmithing to get myself my own Waitstones, because you can make them yourself, believe it or not. And then I swapped over to herbalism skinning later to fund my crack addiction of putting fiery on all my weapons. Because fiery was like 30 gold or something. 24.50 in mats. So we need a gold. Anyway, so I sent myself these. That's pretty much the only thing I bought for a long time. I did go and buy gear when I hit level 45, but before 45, I only put fire ammo weapons, and only on these two. These ones here had no enchants, and I didn't use any gold from any other character. All of my gold was ethically sourced by putting them on the auction house where the prices were really inflated, and I got gold, and it was great. These weapons felt really good. You pick them up at level 10, they're really strong. And they feel really strong until about level 18. Level 18, you're like, oh, it's like not that great. It's still pretty good though. But then 2 levels later, you get these, and they are absolutely cracked Omega insane damage. Just for reference of how much damage they do, type /Atlas loot because my minimap is a mess. If I go to this dungeon item, right? Dungeon item, level 18, dungeon. You have to go to a dungeon to get it. It does 11.6 DPS, and it's a sword, and it's slow. This, level 20, it's a white item off a vendor that does 11.7. So it does the same damage. Two more, levels required, but you can buy it from a vendor. It's just a white item. So it's equivalent to like a green that you find from a dungeon. Don't compare it to this. Don't look at this. This is a lot more damage. But if you look at that, it doesn't prove my point. So look at this, because it proves my point. But these ones were really good. They actually, when he got to 30, I still didn't even feel like I was weak. I did 20 to 30, and I was like, oh, it's time for an upgrade, but like, emotionally I wasn't ready for an upgrade because they actually still felt insanely strong. It's not, insanely is a harsh word. They were still really strong, and it felt good, and we were just running them. This, when he picked up these felt good. I gave an update to my friend, like, as I was playing, and I think I said these felt good until 42. I hit all the way to level 42, and they felt great. And they just did a lot of damage, mainly because you're running hemo and like all this other garbage, but yeah, it actually felt super strong. I think I've heard Zarya mention multiple times that, oh, I want to play a fist weapon character, there's just not enough upgrades, there's not enough weapons. You don't need more weapons. So, which this isn't what Zarya's saying, because he's not saying they're not strong, because they are strong. He's saying there's not enough weapons, which if to him, he's like, oh, I'm bored because I only get a weapon every 10 levels, and I find that boring, then yeah, you will be bored by doing that. However, if his complaint is not what he's saying, but if his complaint is, oh, there's not enough fist weapons that are strong, and I don't feel strong playing it, then you're definitely wrong, because these weapons are really good, and they do a lot of damage, and they're great. They come from a vendor, they're just a little expensive. But these ones, like I said, felt great until like 42, 45, and now we're running this at 46, so it didn't take too long. The only time where I really felt like the fist weapons were bad were against elementals. Holy shit. Fighting elementals is the absolute worst. But other than that, feels great. There's a lot of damage, feels good. Just hit hard. Please use Garrote early game. Garrote early game is your top damage. It does so much damage. Please use it. I know you guys hate selfing, and you just want to run into the mob and just yell and type in the chat, I'm gonna get you, as you're running into the mob, and you go get the mob, and you eviscerate, the Sinister Strike, and do so much damage. And you have a fucking Thunder Fury at level 2, and you're like, oh, I'm so much better than these mobs. Like, I get it, man. You just want to hit them. It's fantastic. But I'm telling you, Garrote is so good. Rupture is pretty good. There was someone who was leveling daggers, and he was like, man, I'm really having trouble killing these mobs. And I told him, have you tried using Garrote? And he's like, no, I've never pressed that button. And I'm like, go press the button. And then he pressed it, and he was like, holy shit, Garrote does so much damage. I'm like, I know, dude. And he became a believer. He would log on, he'd be like, I would give him the updates, he would be a believer. There's no one online because his guild is dead. But if he was on, he would tell you he's a believer. Not in fist weapons, because he doesn't play that. But in my build, because I spent a lot of time theory crafting these characters before I play them, I map out the talents, I figure out where the damage is coming from, I look at synergies, and I'm telling you that this is a great way to play this character. There's a lot of damage. Might finish the 50 to 60 at some point. Probably also carry on Dream Dust. This is great when your mob isn't poisoned. Do not use it on the mob you're hitting. If you are hitting a mob and another one pulls, do not magic dust the mob with the Garrote and the Rupture and the Deadly and everything on it. We will not go to sleep for very long, so use it on the other one. I don't carry on many of them because you have blind, and you have a second blind, and you have 2 vanishes, and yeah, you can have a target dummy, I guess. Sorry, hit my mic. You can have a target dummy. I mean, you have gouge, so don't really need it. This food buff is great. We use food buffs. Food buffs are so good. It'll make your early game so much better. I know fishing sucks. I know you don't want to sit there and fish forever to get 75 fishing, but you kind of have to just do it on every character. Actually, okay. Hot take. I'm just going to give you a hot take. Nice and personal one here. I think that fishing and cooking is infinitely better, mainly cooking, than like any other profession. It is insanely broken. I will say, cooking is broken. That's it. Why does this give me like 120 health? I don't know. It's actually more than that. But maybe it isn't. There's one stam. Yeah, it's been so long since I played this game. One stam is 10 health. It's pretty good. Trust me and use it. It's great. So if I take this off, how much do I lose? 100. So yeah, 1 is 10. It's really good, especially early game. Now it's whatever. You can use Dragon Breath Chili, which has a chance on hit to do AoE damage. It's a little hard to get, and it's kind of annoying to make, so I don't use too many of them. But they're really strong. But let's talk about poisons real quick before I go. Last thing. We'll look at poisons. Why are we not running instant poison? Instant poison reads like it's not a pile of garbage, and deadly poison reads like it's a pile of garbage. Well, this comes... Actually, I want to finish talents super quick. We also go here to pick up 20% poison damage, and then we're going to go here to give 10% poison application, and then we're going to go here for 5% dodge. Why is this good? Because poisons are good. Why is this good? Because poisons are good. Why is this good? Because eating sucks. So that's why you get them. Okay, real quick. So, instant poison. There's 20% chance to apply. Does about, if you look at this does the same damage as this, except not right now, because this rank is better, but in 2 levels, we will get another instant poison, which does 92 to 118, and this does 80, and my argument no longer tracks. Let's look at a lower rank where this makes more sense. This does 44 to 56. This does 52. What does that mean? It means this is in the middle of this, so like the high end. This is the high end. Actually, no, it still tracks. This is the high end. So this is 118, and this is 80. But if you look, 2 levels later, we get another deadly poison, which does 108. 108 is where on this? About the middle. That means that deadly poison is generally around the middle of instant. And what I said does make sense, I just can't read. So, yeah. This, good. Instant poison is also good. I use instant poison for a long time. However, deadly poison is like your top damage sometimes. In the opener, when you open, which by the way is Garrote into Rupture, into Hemo, into Slice and Dice, is your opener every time. Please do that opener every time unless you don't get procs. React to your procs. If you do not get the initiative proc, then you need to do Garrote into Hemo, into Rupture, into hopefully get a proc into Slice and Dice. If you don't get a proc, then you have to Ghostly or Hemo into Slice and Dice, but you need to get those things up because they're very important. Do not will run into a mob, start attacking it with Hemo, don't press anything else, and then hit a Vis, and then go down. Why does it take me 45 seconds to kill one mob? And it's because you don't know what you're doing, and you need to use your spells. I'm sorry, you're a rogue player. I know you just want to press your one button, but you have like 10 other buttons, so you gotta press them. Sorry, gotta hit them. But deadly is very good. It reads like it should be a pile of garbage, but it is your number 1 damage because by the time. And I'll give an update when I get this talent, because I swear this talent is going to go sicko nutso insane. But by the time you get that Slice and Dice done, you're like fully stacked on Deadly. Your Deadly is ticking for, what is this, like 400 damage over 12 seconds, which is crazy. Though realistically it doesn't work like that because this, well not that, but the next rank, the next 2 ranks do the same damage. Like Deadly Poison essentially does the same damage as Instant, if you think about it. Because when instant poison, it's not like you're hitting something with deadly poison and then it just does insane damage. It's not like, oh, 1 stack of deadly poison is bad and 5 stacks is insane. That's not how it works. Because 5 deadly poisons is essentially, to get 5 stacks of deadly, you need to hit 5 deadly poisons, which is the same as hitting 5 instant poisons. The only difference is that your application chance is 33% higher on this. And that's the important part, it's 30%. Because you're fully stacked by your Slice and Dice the majority of the time. When I get this, I bet it will be. Now my friend said, why don't you run Deadly on off or main and run instant on the other? Because it doesn't stack fast enough and it's not good enough, and I don't think it does enough damage. And even when I added them up, it did not do as much as running double Deadly on your weapons. And When I get this might change, because this will go to 40, and this will go to 30, and then you should be able to do that, and that will make sense, yes, but right now it doesn't make sense to do that, and this is really good, so we're going to pick up this first, because every time we proc deadly, every 5 deadlies, you get 1 free deadly. Oh, but what happens when if you stack them so fast, then every other deadly poison proc doesn't do anything. Yeah, but the mob's already exploded. Like, like, yes, yeah. Once you have all of your damage out, and you're doing the most damage of all time, and you've popped all your cooldowns, and you have Recklessness running, and Diamond Flask running, and everything running, and now you don't have anything to press, and you don't do any more damage, so why would you do that? I don't know, maybe because the mob's dead. Like, if I press all my buttons, and have 5 stacks of Deadly, and Garrote, and Rupture, and Slice and Dice running, and have Gift of Harvest, making them take more damage, and have Hemo, which is taking them to take more damage, and, do I need any more? They're already dead. Like, the mob's gonna explode in like 12 seconds. So, no, it's like, oh, you're capped. You just don't get any more damage. Yeah, well, the mobs doesn't have any more health, so it's kind of dead. So that's why it's good. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about. I'm sure this video was 45 minutes. Last recording was 26, so we'll see. Maybe I cut it down a little. Anyway, that was it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.